Let me turn this thing up, get in the middle or finishing up a workout. Wanted to give my official prediction and odds before the fight got too close. It's already Thursday, so we're close to 48 hours away from the fight. And I'm through the roof for this one, man. Not in a while have I been this excited for a fight. It happens. It happens for me every couple months. I get super excited for a fight. But in the day and age in boxing where you have a lot of, and I love checking out betting odds, and I'm a freak for that, especially when it comes to football, but boxing as well. I love seeing the odds because it tells you how much of a mismatch there is in boxing. There are so many mismatches that it's rare. It's far too rare that you have a fight like this where the odds are so close. And that's my first point. If you're looking at the odds, if you saw from Wednesday to Thursday or Tuesday to Wednesday, I don't remember which days it was, in that one day, the odds were close, and then Tyson Fury went to a plus 100. So he's the underdog now. It was a toss-up fight. Now he's the underdog. They got Wilder at plus or minus 120 last I saw, and Fury flipped to plus 100. Now, what I would not be surprised at is sharp money, which is smart money, is going to come in on Tyson Fury late. And this thing's going to go back to a toss-up. By the time the bell rings and this fight starts, I'm pretty confident this will be back to a toss-up fight when it comes to the betting odds. And right now, if you like Tyson Fury to win this fight, now is the time to jump on those betting odds, which I'm going to get at as soon as I get off of this, because, well, I'll save that for my official prediction. But if you like Fury in this fight, plus 100, jump on it now, because I don't think it's going to go over plus 100. I don't think he's going to get to 120, plus 150. I think he's going to stay at plus 100, and then this thing's going to flip back to even odds. So look out for that. If you like Tyson Fury, if you're pretty confident that Tyson Fury is going to win by stoppage, by the scorecards, then that's the way to go. Plus 275 right now is the last I saw. So if you think he's going to win by scorecards, which pretty much everybody who thinks Fury is going to win thinks he's going to win by a decision, then jump on that plus 275 to maximize your profit. But wanted to give my official prediction on this, and we've been talking about this for, a week and a half on this channel. Several videos I've done. And I appreciate the commenters, all the people who have left comments who are also excited about this fight. Let me try to prop this thing up, man. My arm's starting to hurt. Appreciate everybody who's been leaving the comments and getting engaged with the channel. Appreciate all the new subscribers, and subscribe, man. Hit that like button. But yeah, you have your puncher versus your pure boxer. That's what you got here. And look, Deontay Wilder is an underrated boxer, but I would call him a decent to good boxer. Tyson Fury is a great boxer. Then you have the punch power differential where Tyson Fury is a decent puncher, decent to good puncher. I'd actually argue that he's underrated as a puncher. However, he just is not interested in sitting on his punches. And that's the interesting aspect of this is Wilder can box more than he's given credit for. If he wants to box, if he works that jab to set up his right hands, he can do it. He showed it in the first Stiverne fight when a lot of people were picking Stiverne. I think Stiverne was actually the betting favorite for a while because a lot of people thought Stiverne was going to outbox Fury. Outbox Wilder. People forget about that. But Wilder showed himself disciplined in that first fight, boxed well, and won the fight going away on the scorecards. He can box when he works behind that jab. And also, he's the third. I saw this stat earlier. He's number 3 in boxing right now as far as percentage of punches landed, power punches landed. He's 47% on the amount of power punches that are landed that he throws. He's only behind Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. So when he throws, he lands. He's just not a volume puncher. But when he does throw, he lands. He just throws in lulls. He goes into lulls. And He's a sort of a streak shooter. But that's when Tyson Fury gets busy and he lands more volume as opposed to Deontay Wilder, you would say. Just shows better boxing ability. And the thing about Tyson Fury is when he does sit on his punches, he can punch. All right, so he's an underrated puncher as well. Excuse me, as I drop my phone. So a lot to like on both of these fighters, though, and I've been wrestling with this prediction. I've been going back and forth, and I think anybody who tells you they have a precise and they have a great hold on what's going to happen in this fight, they're lying to you. It's just, you can make your best educated guess. But to say that you know what's going to happen in this fight, it's just, this one's a tough one to call because I could easily see, and Vegas thinks that basically from what I'm seeing from the odds, they think by a slight margin that Wilder is going to win this by KO. And last I saw in the community poll I put up, people think that Wilder by a slight margin is going to win by KO. Second would be Tyson Fury by decision. Third would be, from what I saw in Vegas and what I saw as far as my community poll, that Fury would knock out. Fury by stoppage would be the third most likely scenario, and Wilder by decision would be fourth most likely scenario. It's just a tough thing to get hold on because I could easily see Wilder winning this thing by knockout because it's just tough going 24 rounds with a guy who can punch like that and who has a high punching percentage as far as power punches that are landed. Even if he doesn't work behind the jab, one of those right hands is going to land at some point. It's going to land. And you saw in the first fight, he's just as dangerous in round 12 as he is in round 1. So he's just a tough guy to deal with for 12 rounds, a guy who can punch that hard and can end it in a split second. So the other thing as far as Wilder goes is he's been better in the rematches. The two rematches that I know of that he had, Stiverne and Ortiz, he was better, much better in the rematch than he was in the first fight, right? Stiverne, which is odd because people were saying Stiverne's the better boxer, Ortiz the better boxer. Generally speaking, the better boxer is better off in the second fight because he's a more versatile fighter. He has more things that he can work on and see from the first fighter that he can improve on in the second fight and win that fight and do better on. However, and it may go back to Wilder being a better boxer than we give him credit for, but I think it has more to do with the power. You can't discount the fact that when you go rounds with this guy, you're going to be damaged. You're not going to be the same fighter after than you were when you stepped in the ring with him the first time. And you saw that in Stiverne. Stiverne in that second fight, he was a deer in the headlights, and Wilder just destroyed him. Second fight with Ortiz, same thing. Ortiz he had Wilder in hell in that first fight, right? Had him on the canvas. It looked like Wilder was out on his feet. He comes back, wins by knockout, and in the second fight, he had no issues with Ortiz, really. Some, but not much, and won that fight much easier. So Wilder does better in rematches than he does in the initial fight. However, I think he's in there with a different beast all around this time. Fury is just a guy who can use lateral movement, athletic. Guys this size are not, guys 6'9", 250 are not supposed to move like that. I say it about LeBron James. Anybody who has that size, you look at Dirk Nowitzki when he was 6'11", he's not supposed to be moving like that. Guys that size, and Shaq was not supposed to be moving like that at 7'1", and Fury is not supposed to be moving like that at 6'9", 250, especially having gone through substance abuse and whatnot and layoffs. Not supposed to be able to be that athletic at this point in his career, especially at that size. Yet he is. He's a freak of nature. Has a high ring IQ. Knows when to watch that, man. Just go and watch some of his fights. He knows when to use volume punching, and then he knows when to use his lateral movement, use his upper body, clinch when he has to. He knows when to do what. He's got it up here. He's got it, as crazy as the guy is, he's got it up here. All right, so he has the ring IQ, ring generalship advantage over Deontay Wilder. Just a smart fighter, athletic fighter, and not saying Deontay Wilder is not a smart fighter. I just think that Tyson Fury happens to have that advantage in this matchup. And I think, like I've said many times, man, when Tyson Fury is engaged, when Tyson Fury knows what's at stake, when the big lights are shining down on the fighters and Tyson Fury is in that fight, he shows up, man. He shows up and he's locked in. And I think Tyson Fury is of that mindset now. I think he's got the right corner around him. I think he's got the right trainers. I think he's got the right strength and conditioning going. I'm not at all concerned for Fury that he's more muscular. And people are saying that he's going to wear down late in this fight because he's more muscular. I just think he's in shape. I just think this is the best shape he's been in since that Klitschko fight. I think he's locked in and he's ready to go. And I fully believe him when he says, I have 3 fights left on my contract. I'm going to honor those fights and then I'm done. I really think he's hoping that he gets past Wilder in this fight. He'll fight maybe 2 more bums and then fight Joshua to end his career and walk away. But I think he is fully engaged and fully locked in now and ready to go. And when Fury is like that, when Fury's on his game, when he has his A+ game, I don't think there's a heavyweight out there who can beat him. I just don't, man. And that's why I'm picking Fury to win this fight, and I think Fury's going to win it on the cards. And Fury's saying that he doesn't think it could be posturing. He's saying, I think I'm going to have trouble on the cards with the American judges. He doesn't have any British judges, and he's going to go for the knockout early. That's why he's more muscular. He may sit on his punches. He may go for the knockout. Wilder's a tough guy to get out of there. And I know Fury hurt him a couple times in that fight, in the first fight. But Wilder, you see the first Ortiz fight, man. Wilder is not an easy guy to get out of there. So if that's what he's banking on, he may be in trouble in the late rounds. But I fully think that Wilder is going to sit on his punches a little more. Or Fury is going to sit on his punches a little more than normal early in the fight. But when he sees Wilder is able to handle those punches, I think he's going to be ready as far as his conditioning to go 12. And I think it will go 12, and I think he will beat Wilder. He will be hurt several times in this fight, and that's why I think it's going to be a fun fight. Because there's going to be those moments for both fighters. If you're a fan of Wilder, if you're a fan of Fury, you're going to be sitting on the edge of your seats at times, because there's going to be moments in this fight where it looks like Wilder is in trouble, and then it looks like Fury's in trouble. Oh, can Fury finish off this fight? Win on the scorecards, and then will the scorecards be wide enough for Fury to win a decision on the American judges' scorecards? So there's going to be a lot going into this fight, a lot to watch, and I think Fury is going to put on somewhat of a boxing clinic, but he's going to get caught at times, much like the first fight. But I do think he's going to win close on the judges' scorecards. And like I said, man, if you like Fury like I do in this fight, go on the betting odds now and get it at plus 100, because if you wait too long, if you wait till, I think after the weigh-in or on Saturday to bet on Fury, it's going to go back to a toss-up, because a lot of smart money, a lot of sharp money is going to come in on Fury late, I believe, and make this back to a toss-up fight. But one other thing I wanted to touch on, and feel free to comment, man. I see a couple of y'all are on here. Feel free to comment. But what I don't like right now, Nevada State Athletic Commission is saying that they're not going to allow these guys to face off. That is one of the stupidest things, and it's not surprising. Boxing, man, boxing is boxing. They know how to mess up a wet dream. The biggest heavyweight fight we've seen since, the late 90s, or the best, I mean, maybe 2003 at least, but maybe back to the late 90s, 20 years. And you're not going to allow the 2 baddest men on the planet to face off? What are we doing here? Just because they pushed each other, man, look, Wilder and Fury were fully in control of that situation. They were. That was posturing. One of them pushed him, one of them pushed back. It wasn't like Tyson and Lennox Lewis. These guys are fully in control. All right, they're not going to throw punches at the weigh-in. They're not going to throw punches at a pure press conference. They're professional. They were fully in control, just trash talking, just trying to sell a fight. There's no need for the Nevada State Athletic Commission to overstep here and say no face-off. It's stupid. It's stupid. And they've been doing a great job, the promoters, of selling this fight. You saw it at the Super Bowl. You see it commercials everywhere. They've done a great job of ginning up interest. I've had people who are non-boxing fans asking me about this fight, some of my friends. I had somebody, my uncle, an hour ago who doesn't watch boxing saying, why would you not allow the heavyweights to face off against each other after the weigh-in? And I fully agree. Why? Why? Let these guys sell the fight. They're fully in control, man. They're not going to throw punches. Anybody knew that they were not going to throw punches at that press conference, and they're fully in control. They're professional. They're ready to get it on Saturday night, and they're not going to get out of control at the press conference, man. Come on. I just don't understand what Nevada State Athletic Commission is doing there, but I can't say at all that I'm surprised. But going back to this fight, lots of like from both of these fighters as far as a game plan. If you're Wilder, work behind the jab to set up that right hand. All right? Use those boxing skills that you have to find range and smartly land that right hand. Just don't go in there and throw wild punches, trying to end this thing early, and set up that big right hand that is the equalizer and can end this thing for you. And if Wilder wins this fight, man, by knockout, what a huge win for his career. I think he would go to, 43-0-1 on his career. 11-12 straight defenses of his title. It would be a legacy-defining performance by him if he won this thing by decision. It would be great for boxing as well, because I don't know how much Tyson Fury, I don't know how much longer he plans on sticking around. And I've said it on this channel when people ask me, who's more likely to be the heavyweight king in 2 or 3 years from now, out of Wilder, Fury, and Joshua? And I've said Wilder because I think he's the more consistent guy. I think he's disciplined. I think he wants to fight the best consistently, and he just shows up, and he wants greatness. Whereas Fury, he wants greatness now, but I think 2 or 3 years from now, I think Fury could very well much want something else. You know, I think he wants to carry out this contract, and then he may be off to something else. So I think Wilder winning this thing by knockout would be great for boxing, and obviously would be great for his career. And to do that, I think he has to set up the plate with that jab, man, and try to land that right hand. As far as Fury, use the lateral movement, sit on your punches early. All right, sit on your punches early to see what happens. And he's good enough not to get caught, not to get countered there. Wilder isn't the greatest counter puncher, so there's no harm in sitting on some of your punches early just to see what happens, just to test it out. But be ready to go 12. Use the lateral movement, use the upper body, but do not bend over with your upper body like he made a mistake of doing. If you look at the 2 knockdowns in that fight, both behind the ear when he was like this, leaning down. So I like Fury in this fight by decision. I think he's going to carry this thing out. And there's just something about Fury, man. Even though he looked terrible in his last fight, terrible. And I'm not worried about the cut either. I think they sewed that thing up nicely. There's just something about certain athletes, man. They know when to show up. They might have an off night against, maybe they're not up for it, but they know when to show up when the big lights are on them. I mean, the Tom Bradys, the Michael Jordans, all the great athletes, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, all those great athletes, man, they know when to show up. And I think Tyson Fury is cut from that cloth in that he knows when to raise his game to 10. And he's going to be on 10 on this fight. I think this is the best shape he's been in his career. And like I said, the big mistake that he can make in this fight that he needs to stay away from, he used the upper body well. But when he ducks down, he gets hit behind the ear. And you don't want to get hit behind the ear from Wilder again, because it could be good night. Because if he gets caught with another shot like he did in that 12th round, it could be lights out. So I'm out, man. Y'all hit me up. Let me know what y'all think about this video and how y'all see this fight playing out. Peace.